Hi, my name's Lauren Zapala. I'm the author of the INFJ Revolution, and I'm teaching a new live class this August called AWAKEN. It's a class specifically designed for empaths and highly intuitive people. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff in the class. Anxiety, low energy, managing sensitivity, the archetype of the wounded healer, which so many empaths and intuitives really identify with, the awakening process, moving into better relationships. That's a big one. In my last video, we talked about why empaths and highly intuitive people tend to attract energy vampires into their lives so much of the time. At the end of that video, I talked about how it's not only energy vampires that you might have a problem with in relationships. You might have people who you love dearly, people who actually are nice. They're not narcissists, they're not psychopaths. They're not just fully intent on draining you, and much of the time they don't even mean to drain you. But nonetheless, you tend to attract these people. You might love them, but they still take too much from you at the end of the day. And a lot of times empaths and highly intuitive people will end up door slamming these people and feeling very badly about it because they just can't be in a relationship with them anymore. So who are these well-intentioned people? How can we spot them if they're not narcissists, they're not bad people? They do mean well, but they're still going to take too much from us. How do we know they're going to take too much from us before we even get that deep into a relationship with them? So one of the keys to this, one of the keys for empaths and highly intuitive people to vet relationships before they even start is to become familiar with some of the more common psychological games that people tend to play, and then be able to spot those games before they get sucked into those games. So with a lot of really sweet, well-intentioned people who still drain you dry, one of the most common games they tend to play is no one else shows up for me. No one ever shows up for me. No one shows up for me. It's any variation on that, but no one's showing up for me, right? So what does this look like? If a person routinely plays this life game of no one ever shows up for me, you will hear from them a lot, usually in a very kind of complaining way, kind of a constant way. You will hear from them how no one is really there for them. People always disappoint them. They don't want to get their hopes up because people always disappoint them. How lonely they are, how they can't trust anyone. And you'll hear often a lot about their failed attempts to connect with others, right? So this type of person might go through relationship after relationship, friendships and romantic relationships, but then always turn to you as the counselor about it, right? So you're always the constant listening ear about their other failed relationships, their other failed connections with other people. And while you might be able to see the pattern, they will not be able to see the pattern. And when you try to bring it to their attention, they won't really listen. At the same time that they're telling you all about how they can't trust anyone, people always disappoint them, they can't count on anyone, they will tend to be very clingy with you. They will tend to be very into you. They will want a lot more contact with you than you're comfortable with. Now, again, it won't be the narcissistic kind. It won't be that they're being mean to you or they're cutting you down or they're making you feel horrible. It will just be that they want too much of you. They want to talk on the phone every day. They want to text constantly during the day. They want to meet up for lunch, every other day, twice a week. They want more contact with you than feels comfortable to you. And you will question your own boundaries around this because you are an introvert and you know that you tend to keep people at arm's length a lot of the time, and that you really need more downtime than other people. So you might say to yourself, well, they just want to have lunch, once a week, every week. Is that so wrong? Is that so abnormal? I should adapt because I'm the one that needs too much alone time, right? So you will tend to override your signals and give them all that contact they want, but then deep inside you're feeling smothered and you're feeling resentful about it. So what do we do? In this type of situation, what people will find, the empath or the highly intuitive person who's in the situation, their friend will want more and more and more until they really do have to put up a boundary. They really have to establish that boundary of, I can't talk to you every day on the phone. I'm not a big texter. I can't have lunch once a week, every single week. And when we do establish that boundary, we will quickly be moved into the camp of, we were the only person there for that person, in their opinion. Now they've moved us into the camp with everyone else of, now we don't show up for them either, right? This activates the guilt that's already in our energy field, which we talked about in last video. And we tend to feel very badly because that guilt feeling just washes over us, and it's very overwhelming. It's very unpleasant and uncomfortable. So then we start scrambling to get back into their good graces. And the way we do that is we disregard the boundary we just tried to put up, and we say, oh, I know I said I couldn't have lunch every week, but I guess I was just overreacting, and we can still have lunch every single week, right? So we violate our own boundary, and we go right back into the cycle of simmering resentment, self-betrayal, until we freak out and door slam them like we have to so many other people in our lives. So the thing is, you don't have to live this life where you are door slamming people every few years because you have just hit a wall, you've hit your breaking point, and you can't take it anymore. You can scan the relationships beforehand, vet the people beforehand, and really see which way it's going to go and not even get in that deep with those people who are going to suck you dry. So learning things like this, learning the psychological games people play, learning the energetic patterns that people carry in their energy fields and how to spot them and how to work with them or how to avoid them, how to deactivate them when you're around them, how to move away from them in a neutral manner so you don't get the messiness of their backlash on you. This is all stuff we're going to be exploring in this August class. There's a lot of really great energy strategies that empaths and highly intuitive people can use and learn that work, and they work for them because they appeal to our natural temperament of being so good at navigating energy. When someone tells us, be more assertive, stand up for yourself, that doesn't mean anything to us. That's not going to help. That's not in our nature. We're not confrontational. We're not aggressive people. When someone says, hey, here's the energetic pattern that the person is working with, here's the psychological game they're playing, right? Here's the next move they expect you to make. We get that. We can work with that. And we get that so easily that once we really get it, it becomes so easy to have relationships that are nourishing and drama-free, and we don't feel drained and like we're constantly running and hiding from people. This is a very real possibility. So, if this sounds good to you, this class is for you. Next video, I'm going to be talking about why it's so important for empaths and intuitives to move relationships like this, the energy draining relationships, on out of our lives and bring in the new. Bring in the new people who actually will nourish us and balance us and support us. Not surprisingly, this tends to be other empaths and other highly intuitive people. And my clients always ask me, well, that's great, but where can I meet these other empaths and highly intuitive people? Because I don't know any. This class is going to be chock full of them. So if you're ready for a new era in your life, and you're ready for a new kind of way of being, a new way of being in your own power, a new way of being in your bigness and shining bright in your light and being part of a community and a network of people who get you and who you can actually trust, and you won't have to door slam in a few years, please check out this class. If you have questions, send them to me at my email, rightcitysf@gmail.com. You can also leave questions in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. There's a contact form on my website. There's many ways to get a hold of me. Please get a hold of me with your questions. First day of class is August 10th. I'm going to be opening up registration in just a few days. 5-day registration window, just like with all of my classes. If you want in, get in at that time because I can't allow any latecomers because we're really like the registration window closes and we're starting class the very next day. So if you want in, please send me your questions so we can get those answered. I will see you guys for the next video, video 3, in just a few days. Thank you so much. See you then.